I had always thought weekends were meant for lazy mornings and video games, a temporary escape from the real world where responsibilities and adult expectations hung over me like a cloud. But that Saturday morning, everything changed with a single message from my sister, Olivia. I stared at my phone, blinking at the text she had sent me while I sat in my cluttered bedroom, posters of rock bands and video game heroes covering the walls. "Hey Alex, I have an extra spa appointment today. Wanna come? It'll be fun." Fun? The word felt almost alien in my life, something I'd long associated with other people. Olivia had always been radiant, the kind of person who effortlessly drew attention without even trying. She had a group of friends who adored her, and somehow, the universe had decided I was the shadow, quiet, unnoticed, comfortable in my own little world behind the glow of my computer screen. But reading her message, I felt an unfamiliar thrill, an invitation into her world, a glimpse of something different. I hesitated. Going to a spa with my sister meant being around people who expected women, not me, to look a certain way. I wasn't exactly what one would call spa-ready. My reflection in the mirror, a face I barely recognized some days, stared back at me. Brown hair tousled from sleep, soft features that had always made me self-conscious, and eyes that were a mix of curiosity and anxiety. For reasons I couldn't explain, the thought of trying something new, of stepping outside my usual shell, pulsed through me. I wasn't a crossdresser in the sense of having a clear hobby or lifestyle. It was more complicated, more secretive. Sometimes, when I was alone, I would experiment, trying on my sister's clothes, borrowing her makeup when she wasn't around, and staring into the mirror as if trying to reconcile two sides of myself. There was a thrill in it, yes, but also a quiet shame I kept locked away. It wasn't something I shared with anyone, not even my closest friends. And yet, Olivia's invitation felt like an unspoken challenge, a way to push those boundaries without realizing it. I glanced around my room, the familiar chaos of books, empty soda cans, and game controllers grounding me. My mom was downstairs, humming a tune as she prepared breakfast, oblivious to the turmoil in my mind. Olivia, on the other hand, always seemed to glide through life with effortless grace. She was my older sister by 2 years, but sometimes it felt like we existed in entirely different worlds. Today, though, she was reaching out to me, and that alone made my heart race. I texted back a quick, hesitant reply. "Sure, I'll come." I pressed send and immediately felt my stomach knot. What had I just agreed to? The thought of stepping into a world of soft robes, scented candles, and strangers' expectations was daunting. Yet, there was something thrilling about the unknown, about the possibility of exploring a side of myself that had always been tucked away. By the time I finished breakfast, I was already imagining the scenario. Olivia would be radiant, naturally confident, her skin glowing from some magical spa treatment I would inevitably feel unworthy of. And then there was me, unsure, nervous, yet secretly excited. My mind raced with possibilities. Should I just wear something casual, hide in the background, blend in? Or maybe, just maybe, I could push the boundaries a little. I found myself standing in front of my closet, fingers hovering over fabrics and textures. Olivia had always left her wardrobe invitingly accessible: satin blouses, soft cardigans, dresses that swayed like they had been made for movement and grace. I pulled out a pastel blouse, its silky texture familiar against my fingertips, and then hesitated, the thrill of forbidden experimentation making my pulse quicken. I had done this before, of course. Quiet afternoons spent alone, slipping into Olivia's clothes, applying a hint of eyeliner or lip gloss, and studying the reflection in the mirror. There was something transformative in it, not just the physical change, but the way it made me feel, lighter, freer, more aligned with a part of myself I rarely acknowledged. But today felt different. Today, it wasn't just me in the room, it was me potentially stepping out into the world, into the public gaze, alongside my sister. I carefully slipped into the blouse, letting the soft fabric settle against my skin. My hands shook slightly as I fastened the buttons, my mind racing with a mixture of excitement and fear. I added a pair of leggings, something neutral but comfortable, and brushed my hair carefully, imagining how it would fall around my face in a way that complemented my features. A quick glance at my reflection made me pause. The person staring back wasn't entirely me, but it wasn't entirely someone else either. It was a possibility, a hint of transformation waiting to happen. I left my room quietly, careful not to draw attention from my mom, and made my way to the living room where Olivia was waiting. She was exactly as I had imagined, smiling, radiant, already dressed in a light robe, hair perfectly styled. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, though there was a flicker of curiosity, perhaps noticing a subtle difference in my appearance. "Alex, you look different," she said, a teasing lilt in her voice. "I like it. You're going to love this spa. Trust me." I nodded, trying to steady my voice. "Yeah, I'm excited." The words felt foreign, yet thrilling. My heart raced with anticipation, and as we stepped out together, I felt the weight of possibility pressing down on me. Something inside me had shifted, something I hadn't fully understood until this moment. The drive to the spa was quiet but filled with unspoken tension. Olivia chatted effortlessly, her laughter filling the car, while I tried to match her energy, hiding the nervous flutter in my chest. The spa itself was a sanctuary of scents and soft music, a world designed to soothe and transform. I followed Olivia in, acutely aware of every step, every glance, every whispered conversation that might reveal my hidden excitement. And then, the attendant greeted us with a warm smile, leading us to our robes and slippers. I slipped into the robe, the soft fabric enveloping me in a cocoon of warmth and unfamiliar luxury. For the first time, I felt seen, not for the shy, quiet person I usually presented to the world, but for someone else entirely. Someone bold, curious, and vulnerable all at once. As Olivia led me through the spa, explaining each treatment, I realized that this day was about more than relaxation. It was about exploration, transformation, and the intoxicating thrill of stepping into a side of myself I had kept hidden for so long. My heart pounded with excitement and fear, anticipation and longing, as I realized that this spa day would change something deep within me, something I could never quite go back from. And as I stood there, in the soft glow of the spa lights, watching my reflection in the mirror, I understood. My life was about to be rewritten. The spa smelled like a delicate forest of vanilla and lavender, a soft haze that seemed to seep into my skin the moment we walked in. I followed Olivia down the polished corridors, my robe brushing against my legs, each step making me painfully aware of the slippers that felt too big for my feet. Every sound, the gentle trickle of water, soft footsteps of other visitors, the muted hum of conversation, added to the tension. Olivia chattered with ease, asking questions about treatments and laughing at the receptionist's jokes, while I trailed behind, heart hammering, imagining everyone's gaze on me, even though I knew they were too polite or distracted to notice. I wanted to blend in, to feel normal, yet a thrill ran through me at the thought that I was, in some small way, different. We were led to a room where robes, towels, and a small assortment of skincare products waited. Olivia immediately pulled out a face mask from a neatly arranged set of bottles. "You should try this one," she said, handing it to me. My fingers brushed hers briefly, sending a shiver through me. I nodded, taking the bottle as if it were an ordinary gesture, but inside, my mind raced. Applying a mask was one thing. Embracing the full experience of femininity in a public yet private setting was another. For a moment, I considered refusing, slipping back into the familiar shell of who I really was. But then Olivia's encouraging smile reminded me that this was a chance, a rare, exhilarating chance, to explore that hidden side of myself. I settled into a chair, slowly applying the mask to my face, feeling the cool, silky texture against my skin. I glanced at my reflection in the mirror across the room. For a brief moment, the person staring back wasn't Alex, the shy, quiet boy who had spent countless afternoons alone. It was someone else softer, more vibrant, more visible. My pulse quickened as I imagined what it would feel like to carry this persona outside the spa, in a world that had always expected me to remain invisible. Olivia, oblivious to my internal struggle, moved on to the next treatment, manicures. I followed hesitantly, taking a seat at a small table where another attendant welcomed me warmly. My hands trembled slightly as I placed them on the soft cushion, the nail technician's gentle touch sending goosebumps up my arms. "You've got beautiful hands," she said casually, as if noting a fact, but my heart skipped a beat. I tried to keep my voice steady, responding with a quiet, "Thank you." The sensation of being complimented, of being observed in this way, was intoxicating. My mind flickered back to the countless afternoons I had spent alone, experimenting with Olivia's clothes and makeup. This time it wasn't hidden, it was real. As the nail technician worked, painting each nail with precision, I allowed myself to relax into the process. I noticed the subtle curve of my fingers, the way my hands looked smaller, more delicate under the polish. A part of me wanted to shrink back, to reclaim my usual identity, but another part, braver, more curious, urged me forward. I let that part take the lead, feeling a warmth bloom in my chest. After the manicure, Olivia suggested a facial, and I followed along, feeling the soft sheets of the spa bed under me. The attendant applied a series of creams and serums, massaging them into my skin with practiced hands. I closed my eyes, letting the sensations wash over me. The hum of the spa, Olivia's soft voice, and my own racing heartbeat blending into a dizzying mix of comfort and anxiety. It was during this moment, with my face half covered in creams, that I felt it, the first true flicker of fear. What if someone recognized me? What if Olivia's friends or a stranger saw through the layers of this experiment and judged me? My heart thudded in my chest, and I realized that part of the thrill came from the risk, the delicate balance between exposure and concealment. Olivia leaned over, whispering, "You're going to love the next part. Trust me." Her eyes sparkled, and I couldn't tell if she was hinting at the next treatment or at something more, something I wasn't yet ready to acknowledge. The next hour was a blur of massages, scented oils, and soft laughter. I felt my body relaxing, but my mind was a storm of conflicting emotions. I reveled in the sensations, the softness of the robes, the silky textures of the oils, and the quiet, private acknowledgement of this other side of myself. And yet, a thread of anxiety ran through me, reminding me that this was temporary, that I would have to step back into my normal life eventually. After the treatments, Olivia suggested we try the spa's wardrobe lounge, where they offer robes in different styles and colors. My heart nearly stopped. This was the ultimate temptation, the chance to explore, to truly immerse myself in a persona that I had only ever glimpsed in private. I hesitated at the doorway, feeling the weight of decision pressing on me. Olivia noticed, tilting her head curiously. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded, swallowing hard. "Yeah, just thinking." "You should try something," she encouraged. "It's fun, and you might like it." I stepped inside, my fingers brushing over the fabrics. There were flowing robes in pastel pinks, soft blues, delicate creams. My hand lingered on a particularly silky lavender robe, the material warm under my touch. I felt a thrill, followed by a wave of vulnerability. Slipping it on, I felt transformed, the soft fabric caressing my skin, the subtle scent clinging to me, and the reflection in the mirror revealing someone I barely recognized, yet desperately wanted to be. Olivia clapped her hands softly. "You look amazing." "See? I told you this would be fun." I smiled, a small, almost nervous smile, but inside, I was shaking. The thrill of discovery mingled with fear. Fear of exposure, fear of judgment, fear of losing control over this secret side of myself. And yet, I couldn't stop. Each glance in the mirror, each adjustment of the robe, each careful step in the slippers felt like a step deeper into a world I had only dreamed about. Time seemed to blur as we moved from one lounge to another, trying out different robes, masks, and treatments. Every moment heightened the tension, the delicate balance of excitement and fear, the intoxicating vulnerability of being seen, even if only partially. I caught glimpses of myself in mirrors, and each reflection was a reminder of the duality I carried within me: Alex, the quiet boy, and someone else, someone freer, bolder, more visible. As the afternoon wore on, the spa began to empty, leaving us in a quiet, almost sacred space. Olivia suggested a final treatment, a light, aromatic wrap designed to soothe both body and mind. I lay down, the soft fabric enveloping me, and closed my eyes. My mind wandered, replaying every sensation of the day. The touch of hands, the shimmer of robes, the thrill of being observed and yet safe. And then, a sudden noise, a door opening somewhere in the spa, made me tense. My pulse quickened, the fragile cocoon of confidence and curiosity threatened by the intrusion of reality. For a fleeting moment, I considered slipping back into my usual identity, hiding the side of myself that had flourished so brightly today. But then I felt Olivia's hand on mine, a reassuring squeeze, and I allowed myself to stay, to exist in this liminal space between fear and exhilaration. By the time we left the spa, the sun was dipping low, casting golden light across the city streets. I felt a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration, my body tingling from the treatments, my mind buzzing from the day's revelations. Olivia chattered happily about the experience, but I was lost in thought, replaying each moment, each sensation, each reflection that had shown me a side of myself I hadn't fully acknowledged. That night, back in my room, I stood before the mirror, robe folded neatly in my drawer. The person staring back at me was both the same and entirely new. I could still see Alex, the quiet, reserved boy, but there was also someone else, someone transformed, someone alive in ways I hadn't realized. And as I drifted asleep, I knew, with a certainty that both thrilled and terrified me, that my life had changed forever. The spa had done more than relax my body. It had unlocked a part of me I couldn't ignore. And I understood, in that quiet, trembling moment, that nothing would ever be the same. The evening sun had faded, leaving the streets outside the spa cloaked in a quiet twilight. Alex walked beside Olivia, their lavender robe now replaced with a more practical outfit borrowed from the spa's boutique, a flowing tunic and leggings that clung softly to their body, paired with ankle boots that gave them a tentative sense of confidence. But confidence was fragile, a veneer barely holding back the storm of anxiety swirling within. "You okay?" Olivia asked, her tone light but her gaze piercing. Alex forced a nod, their chest tight with anticipation. "Yeah, I'm fine," they murmured, though the words felt hollow even to themselves. The taxi ride home was quiet, punctuated only by the soft hum of traffic and Olivia's occasional chuckle at something on her phone. Alex stared out the window, their reflection merging with the city lights, and they couldn't help but imagine the reactions if anyone recognized them. The thrill of the spa lingered in every fiber of their being, a tantalizing reminder of the person they had glimpsed that day. Once inside the apartment, Olivia suggested a quick look in the mirror before settling down. Alex reluctantly agreed, following her to the bedroom mirror where they paused. The reflection was astonishing. The soft curve of their shoulders, the delicate frame accentuated by the tunic, and the subtle makeup they had dared to try on earlier created an image that was both familiar and entirely new. Their heart raced. This was more than a costume. It was an identity, fragile yet undeniable. "Wow," Olivia whispered. "You look incredible. I mean, seriously." Alex swallowed hard, the compliment stirring a dangerous mixture of pride and panic. "Thanks. I just don't know if I should be like this," they admitted, fingers fidgeting with the hem of the tunic. "You can be like this," Olivia said firmly, placing a reassuring hand on Alex's shoulder. "It's who you are. Don't hide it." The words were intoxicating, almost dizzying. Alex felt a surge of courage, tempered by the whisper of fear that someone, Emma, neighbors, anyone, might discover the truth. Yet before they could dwell further, a sudden knock at the door froze them both. Alex's heart lurched. Who could that be?" they stammered. Olivia tilted her head, a mischievous glint in her eyes. "Maybe it's the universe giving you a test." The knock came again, louder this time. Alex's pulse quickened, fingers clutching the edge of the mirror for support. I think I need to hide," they whispered. Olivia shook her head, a half-smile playing on her lips. Or maybe it's your chance to show the world who you really are. But first, let's get you ready. She guided Alex to the sofa, producing a small set of accessories she had picked up earlier. A delicate necklace, a pair of earrings, and a scarf that could transform the outfit from casual to sophisticated. Alex hesitated, the weight of the decision pressing down. Every touch, every adornment felt like a declaration of self, an exposure they weren't sure they were ready for. But the knock persisted, urgent now. Alex's mind raced. The spa had been a private sanctuary. This was the real world, unpredictable and dangerous. Yet Olivia's presence was a tether, grounding them. With trembling hands, Alex fastened the necklace, adjusted the earrings, and draped the scarf over their shoulders. The transformation was complete. Taking a deep breath, Alex approached the door. The handle was cold under their fingers, a stark contrast to the warmth that radiated from within. They peeked through the peephole and froze. A familiar figure stood there, Emma. But it wasn't just Emma. There was a friend with her, someone Alex didn't recognize, and they both seemed curious, observant. "Oh no," Alex whispered, backing away. "I can't, they'll see me." Olivia moved closer, whispering, "You can do this. Be bold. Be yourself." The moment stretched taut, every second a dagger of suspense. Alex's mind raced through escape routes, lies, explanations, but none felt adequate. And then, a bold thought struck, a chance to embrace the persona they had cultivated, to confront the world as the transformed self they had discovered at the spa. With a shaky exhale, Alex opened the door. "Hey," Emma said, her voice casual, masking a hint of curiosity. "We were just passing by and thought we'd drop in." Alex's pulse thundered. They forced a smile, their hands trembling slightly, but their posture straightening. "Hi, come in," they said, voice wavering yet firm. The friend looked at Alex with a soft, evaluating gaze. "Wow, you look different," she said, the words hanging in the air like an electric charge. Alex felt every muscle tighten, every instinct screaming that this was dangerous. But beneath the fear, a strange thrill surged, the intoxicating power of being seen, truly seen, in a way that was both terrifying and exhilarating. Emma stepped closer, brow furrowed. "Alex, is that you?" Her tone was a mix of surprise and confusion. "Yes," Alex admitted, the word trembling on their lips. "It's me." For a moment, silence reigned. The apartment seemed impossibly small, the air thick with anticipation. Every heartbeat felt magnified, every breath a declaration of vulnerability. Alex's mind whirled. Would Emma accept this? Would she reject them? Or would this revelation shatter the fragile connection they had nurtured? Emma's gaze softened slightly, then hardened with curiosity. You look amazing," she said slowly. "But why? Why didn't you tell me?" Alex swallowed, voice barely a whisper. I didn't know how. I didn't know if it was okay." The friend smiled gently, a knowing look that sent shivers down Alex's spine. "It's okay. You don't have to explain. You're beautiful." The words, simple yet profound, sparked a surge of relief and elation. Alex's chest loosened, the tension ebbing slightly, replaced by a heady mix of pride and vulnerability. For the first time, they felt the possibility of acceptance, the fragile hope that their secret self could coexist with the life they had always known. But the climax wasn't over. A sudden vibration from the phone on the table, Emma's phone, left unattended, pulled everyone's attention. A notification flashed on the screen, a message from a colleague, asking about the party tonight. Alex's stomach dropped. They hadn't expected Emma to remember the party invitation, and now the reality of being caught in the middle of a social expectation pressed down like a physical weight. "What party?" Emma asked, glancing at the message. Alex's mind raced. The spa experience had been a private, controlled environment. Now, with the door open, guests potentially on their way, and Emma's curiosity piqued, they faced a choice: retreat into their old identity, risking shame and disappointment, or step fully into the persona that had been nurtured all day, risking exposure but embracing the thrill of authenticity. They took a shaky breath, stepping slightly forward, allowing the soft lavender scarf to catch the dim light, the necklace glinting delicately. The spa was amazing, Alex said, voice gaining strength. And I wanted to try something new. Something me. Emma blinked, processing, her expression a mix of astonishment and admiration. You're serious, she murmured. Yes, Alex confirmed, heart pounding. I am. A tense silence followed, then Olivia's gentle encouragement. See? I told you. Be yourself. The world seemed to hold its breath. Alex's transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional, a revelation of identity that demanded acknowledgement. Every glance, every subtle movement, every flicker of vulnerability was a declaration. I am here. I am visible. I am me. And just as the tension reached its peak, a sudden knock, louder, insistent, echoed from the apartment door. Everyone froze. Alex's pulse spiked. The unknown figure outside wasn't expected, a wild card that could shatter the delicate balance of acceptance and curiosity that had been established. Olivia whispered urgently, "Now it's your test. Do you hide, or do you embrace?" Alex's mind raced. The duality of fear and desire surged through them. Every instinct screamed to retreat, to cloak themselves in the familiar safety of invisibility. Yet a deeper, more insistent part, the part that had been awakened at the spa, urged them forward. To hide would be to deny the person they had glimpsed. To open the door fully was to risk everything, but also to affirm their identity in a way they had never done before. Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped toward the door, fingers brushing the handle, heart hammering. The moment stretched into eternity, every second thick with possibility and peril. And then, with a trembling but resolute hand, they turned the knob. The door swung open. And, outside, stood someone Alex never expected. Alex froze, hand on the doorknob, heart hammering like a drum in their chest. The figure outside was tall, shadowed by the dim light from the hallway, but there was something familiar in their stance, an air of authority that immediately made Alex's stomach tighten. Their mind raced, a tornado of fear, excitement, and disbelief. Hi. Alex's voice trembled, soft and uncertain, the lavender scarf brushing against their collarbone as if seeking reassurance. The figure didn't move immediately. Instead, they tilted their heads slightly, eyes scanning Alex from head to toe, taking in every detail of the transformation, the subtle curve of the tunic, the shimmer of the necklace, the delicate makeup that highlighted Alex's features. Every heartbeat felt magnified, echoing in the sudden silence of the apartment. Olivia stepped slightly behind Alex, placing a hand lightly on their shoulder. "It's okay," she whispered, her voice a mixture of encouragement and warning. "Just stay calm." The figure finally spoke, voice low and measured. "Alex, we need to talk." Alex swallowed hard, a lump forming in their throat. Talked about what? They tried to sound casual, but the tremor in their tone betrayed them. The shadowed visitor took a step forward, and the dim hallway light caught the edge of a badge clipped to their jacket. Alex's heart sank. They recognized it immediately. It wasn't just anyone at the door. It was someone from Emma's world, someone with authority, someone who could shatter the delicate cocoon Alex had been wrapped in all day. Emma stepped closer to Alex, her own expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. "Alex, who is it?" she asked softly, her hand brushing against Alex's arm. Her touch was grounding, yet also a stark reminder of how exposed Alex truly was. Alex opened their mouth to answer, but no words came. Their mind raced, imagining every possible scenario, rejection, embarrassment, the secret they had nurtured and cherished being ripped away in an instant. The transformation, the thrill, the confidence they had built up at the spa, it all teetered on the edge of collapse. Olivia leaned closer, whispering, "Whatever happens, you face it. Don't hide who you are." Her eyes held a fierce, unwavering trust in Alex that sparked a small flame of courage inside them. Yet even with that encouragement, fear gnawed relentlessly at the edges of their resolve. The visitor's eyes flicked to Olivia, then back to Alex, and a faint, knowing smile appeared on their lips. "You look different," they said, almost conversationally, but the undertone was sharp, probing. "Very different." Alex's chest tightened. Different. That word carried weight, judgment, and fascination all at once. They tried to muster a smile, a bridge between fear and defiance, but it came out half-formed, shaking. I tried something new," they stammered. "Just experimenting." "Experimenting," the visitor repeated, the word rolling over them like a stone. "Interesting choice." Their gaze lingered, appraising, measuring, as if weighing Alex's intentions and their own curiosity. The tension in the apartment was suffocating, every second stretched into what felt like eternity. Emma's voice broke through the taut silence. Are they a friend of yours?" she asked cautiously, eyes darting between Alex and the visitor. Alex shook their head, heart sinking further. No, not a friend. Not someone they had chosen to reveal this to. This was an unplanned confrontation, a challenge they hadn't anticipated, and now the truth hovered precariously between exposure and acceptance. The visitor shifted slightly, revealing a small envelope in their hand, almost casual, but the sight of it sent a jolt of alarm through Alex. They knew immediately that this wasn't just a social visit. It was something more serious, something that could upend everything. Their secret life, the identity they had explored at the spa, and the fragile confidence they had nurtured in Olivia's presence. It was all at risk. Alex's hands trembled, fingers gripping the doorknob as if it were a lifeline. I don't know what you want," they whispered, voice barely audible, the room thick with suspense. The visitor stepped closer, the envelope extended. This is for you," they said. Their gaze didn't waver, and in that moment, Alex felt every ounce of vulnerability they had been trying to mask rise to the surface. The tension was unbearable, a tightrope stretched between fear and revelation, curiosity and dread. Olivia's grip on Alex's shoulder tightened slightly. "Whatever's in there, you face it together," she said, her words a lifeline amidst the chaos. Her eyes held an intensity that made Alex draw a shaky breath and consider, could they handle the truth, whatever it was? Could they continue to embrace this new identity even in the face of an unexpected challenge? Alex's eyes flicked to Emma, whose expression was unreadable, concern, curiosity, and a hint of apprehension mingled in her gaze. The weight of their expectations, of the judgment that might come, pressed down. Yet beneath the fear, there was a spark of determination, a fragile but real thread of courage weaving through the panic. Finally, with a trembling hand, Alex reached for the envelope, every second a battle between fear and curiosity. Their fingers brushed the paper, and they could feel the weight of the unknown pressing into their palm. The visitor's eyes held them, unblinking, waiting. Olivia's presence was a silent reassurance, and Emma's gaze was a tether to reality, but the decision, the moment of truth, was entirely Alex's. As they lifted the envelope, the air seemed to pulse with anticipation. Every heartbeat was loud, every thought a jumble of what-ifs and possibilities. Alex's lips parted to speak, but the words caught in their throat. The room was still, heavy with tension, suspended on the edge of revelation. And then, just as Alex was about to open it, the visitor spoke again, voice calm but deliberate. "Whatever's inside, it changes everything." Alex froze, hand hovering over the envelope. The words echoed in their mind. Changes everything. And in that moment, they realized that nothing would ever be the same again. The day at the spa, the transformation, the thrill of being seen, it was all leading to this precise, terrifying moment. The envelope quivered slightly in Alex's hand. Their breath caught. The world seemed to hold its breath with them. And then, as they met the eyes of Emma, Olivia, and the visitor, every instinct screamed at them, every fear, every desire, every secret that had led to this moment converged. Alex opened the envelope, but what they saw inside would have to wait.